Lads, I'm back.
Oh my
Hello.
gosh.
Have you missed me?
The three have united.
Exactly. We are the lethal three, or whatever Stephen A is calling that Golden Smith trio nowadays. Golden
Mhm.
State trio. What?
I had a
What?
funny story one time. Okay, so you know how like we all love history on this podcast.
Yes.
I'd say so.
Yes. And we were talking about who were the original big three
In what regard?
In
in
basketball.
the NBA. In the
Oh,
NBA.
okay.
No, like they were just saying like, who's the big three. Like I think they meant basketball,
Yeah.
but they just said
Well,
who's the big three.
we don't-
Who's the original big three?
We
And then
don't have that in hockey. That unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's just the way the sport works.
Like what? Yeah, we always talk about Messier and Gretzky or
Yeah.
Lemieux and Yager. I don't know how often. Yeah, there's been a Kane and Taves, and then you've had the pairing of Seabrook and Keith. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
how many big
Yeah.
trios there. There was the old. Well, no, remember there was the old big three defense core in Montreal in the 70s,
yeah.
Right.
and then they were parodying in the playoffs last year, which was very. Larry Robinson and Ben Sherrod are not the same thing, but I think that was a like sort of connection. But yeah, you could think of like a line, like the perfection line and all
Yeah.
that type of stuff. But I don't know. We haven't had much. Who would have been the first big three in the NBA? I obviously think of like a lot of the Bull stuff, but I don't know enough about the Magic Bird
Yeah.
days to say, or even like the Russell days to say.
Yeah, so here's what the joke was because people were saying that it was Jordan, Pittman, Rodman, and then other people were saying no, it was Kareem, Magic, and Worthy. But this is for the joke. My corny joke comes in
Yeah.
because they didn't say the NBA; they were just saying random big three people, right?
So
And I
yeah,
said no, I know
maybe-
the original big three because this was technically the name of them in a textbook.
Okay.
Okay.
So the original big three is Winston Churchill,
Oh my
Franklin
God.
D. Roosevelt, and Joseph Stalin.
I thought you were gonna say the guys who. What was the coalition? It was like George Brown, John A. McDonald, and
Oh man.
guy. What were they
Yeah.
called again here in Canada? I forget, but like that like old coalition.
You're
Yeah.
exposing our lack of Canadian history knowledge.
Yeah, that's terrible. I'm like, I was
hope the
just
government
pretending to
doesn't-
agree because I didn't know.
The government shouldn't listen to this when I eventually apply for Canadian citizenship.
yeah, exactly.
So that's a whole thing. But
So bad that I
they-
know Andy McDonald better than John A. McDonald.
exactly, man. Exactly. Okay. Let's talk some hockey here. To open the show, it's a sad day for the hockey world. The passing of Guy Lafleur happened a few days ago. We don't need to sit here and talk about the scoring and all that, the being the leading scorer in Habs history. We don't have to talk about that. You've all seen that. I want to talk about with Lafleur is this is a guy who is one of the three big pillars in the history of the Montreal Canadiens. Not just that, but when it comes to the greats of Quebec hockey, you of course think of Beliveau, you think of Richard, Maurice in this case mainly, and then you think of, I think the joke was the day Beliveau retired, the next day they drafted Guy Lafleur. It's again, you look at tonight is Montreal's first home game since the passing. And for example, they obviously have his number 10 on the ice. There are no advertisements on the boards tonight in Montreal. It's all Guy Lafleur's signature, his like birth date, his passing date, and all that. It's gonna be a very special night in Montreal, but obviously we didn't get to see Guy Lafleur play. I mean, his prime years were the 70s, and we were all born in the 90s. Alex. Oh no, Alex is a 2000 kid, aren't you? Never mind.
Yeah.
And I was 99, so barely. I was wondering, like, what do you guys sort of like? What can you say about Guy Lafleur of what you know about him?
When I was growing up, because obviously I didn't get to see him, but play. But the one thing I always remembered from this one hockey book is just how tough of a guy he was. And I remember there was that grandfather rule, I believe, that he was the last guy to not wear a helmet. And I always thought that was crazy, that he was still so dominant even to his later years, that as the game kind of transitioned more into the protective gear, like this guy just didn't care.
I don't think he was the last to wear his helmet, but he definitely held on with that hair. I mean,
Yeah. So that was something I always remember. Like, wow, this guy is crazy for doing that. Because for me, for all of us, it's just foreign. They're like, oh, you're not gonna you're not going to play hockey without a helmet. So I'm always going to remember that. And just as I got older, reading more on Guy Lafleur, reading more on the legacy of the Habs, and he's forever in there, that he is one of their biggest legends. And he's one of their biggest legends, and he's just someone that it's just a fixture in when you think of the Montreal Canadiens.
Alex.
Yeah, and obviously, personally, my first thought was that stretch of period in the 70s where the Canadiens were dominant. But I think the thing with Guy Lafleur, and I think Daniel, you kind of mentioned it there too, is when you think of the Montreal Canadiens, there's a few names that automatically pop up in your head, and 100% he's one of them. And I think that, and I know that's short, but I think that has more of an impact than so many other things that we could talk about. But the fact that he's one of the first, what I'd say 3 names that you think of when you talk about the Montreal Canadiens, speaks volumes to him as not only a player, but I think as a person.
There are legends in this game, and then there are almost immortals. That's what Guy Lafleur is. I always talk about that when you talk about the great Mount Rushmore of hockey. I'm someone who takes very seriously thinking about Maurice Richard because of what it means to French Canada. And obviously hockey at its core is French Canadian. That's where the game started. That's where the league started. The Montreal Canadiens themselves are older than the NHL. The pucks are made in Quebec. And you've seen, like, for example, the statue. There are, I think it's 4 statues outside the Bell Center. One of them are Guy Lafleur. I obviously, as a Habs fan, I obviously, because I didn't see him play, I knew you still know the legend. It's part of being a Habs fan. I've always believed that there's an arrogance to being a Habs fan because of the teams in the 70s and that. That's what built the standard of Montreal as to why a losing season is never acceptable. It's because of guys like Guy Lafleur. I remember when I was at a game where I think they had a rough start against the Panthers and the Habs stormed back, and they scored 3 goals in 2-3 minutes. It was insane. And next to me was an older gentleman who clearly had seen the glory days of the Montreal Canadiens. And that guy did not even smile for that whole game, even when the Habs are coming back, and I'm losing it, right? Until the clock goes down, 10-9, 3, 2, 1. And once they win, he cracks a smile, stands up and applauds the crowd because that guy watched Guy Lafleur play. I also think of how candid he was. They're never going to win with Max Pacioretty as the captain. Gallagher should be the guy. That's what I loved about Guy Lafleur. And even Pacioretty, a few months ago with that Agent Provocateur episode he did, talked about the alumni in Montreal and how they have to really take advantage of having them. And the theme of these legends passing, and of course, last year we had the Pocket Rocket leave, unfortunately. It's sad at the same time. You see so many of, if you've ever seen the Habs locker room, above are the portraits of all the great Habs. It's just a shame that Guy Lafleur is now gone. Within a few days of Mike Bossy, who you guys talked about last episode. A shame, but hell, I've loved what I've seen from different organizations. The Flames doing a respectable moment of applause I thought was really good. I don't often give credit to Sportsnet, but they did an incredible job last night, really remembering Guy Lafleur. The Dick Irvine stuff was really, really good. So shout outs. I think the Bruins even did something, and he broke that fan base's heart for a long time. So it should be a great night tonight hosting the Bruins. Hopefully the Habs can get a sort of spirited win out of it. Carey Price isn't playing. He won't be making a trip to New York. We're going to talk about that all a little later, but rest in peace, the real flower of this league. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but when it was circulating on Twitter, when Jean Beliveau passed away, there's this picture when he's having his service, and Guy Lafleur is there at his coffin and he's on his knees. Yeah. It's just nice that he'll be with the Richards, and he's right now also with Mr. Beliveau. That's just, it's special. It's really, really special to see. But anyway, guys, to the big stories across the league. Excuse me, if you missed me last episode, we're going to hear me talk a lot because I have a lot to set up for this next segment because it's very important. Tonight, the Vegas Golden Knights are fighting for their playoff lives. They have one game in hand over the Dallas Stars, but they sit 4 points back. 3 games left for Dallas, 4 for Vegas. So yes, they play the Sharks tonight in a few hours. They have to win that game to stay in striking distance. What's important, this Tuesday, the Golden Knights play the Dallas Stars, which is easily the most meaningful game left in the NHL calendar. Okay? So I was going to read a Jesse Granger article, but my throat didn't allow that to happen. Okay. Basically, there's a really good article in The Athletic by Jesse Granger explaining what's been going on with Vegas' goaltending. Robin Lehner has been playing hurt. He's been publicly criticized by Pete DeBoer. There was even a very good quote about how Lehner is paid to play that Pete DeBoer brought up. And what really is strange by all of this, guys, at such a crucial time of the year is a couple of days ago, Emily Kaplan put up an article saying that Robin Lehner, or not an article, just a tweet, a report saying that Robin Lehner was going to be getting season-ending surgery. Now, Pete DeBoer then said that Lehner had missed practice with it being a maintenance day, and he fully expected him to practice the next day, which would have been the 23rd. This is the 24th today. Now, what makes this even more questionable, last night on NHL 32 Thoughts, God damn it, Elliot Friedman basically sort of put here, just give me a second, I have the full quote up. There were 2 reports that Lehner is out for the rest of the year and having surgery. I've heard the same rumors. Vegas has disputed that today, and they said they were hopeful he'd be in the lineup tomorrow night. Nobody's talking, but this is what I can piece together what's happening to Lehner. So what's happening to Lehner is he's playing hurt, was upset at some of the criticism and also being pulled the other night. I believe that he informed the Golden Knights on Thursday that he was going to have surgery and shut it down. I think in the last 24, 48 hours, everybody involved was trying to see if there's a solution to get him into the lineup. Logan Thompson is apparently playing tonight. There was a backup goalie, an emergency backup goalie in the other net, but apparently Pete DeBoer said they expect Lehner to back up, guys. As I quickly go take a drink and cough my lungs out, what the hell is going on in Vegas?
So is it fair to say that, that Pete DeBoer is probably not going to be the coach of the Vegas Golden Knights after this season? Like, I mean this with the utmost respect. It's just not working.
They missed 100%.
They 1,000% missed. Gerard Gallant should very much be the coach of this team. Like, he should still be the coach of this team.
Everything is kind of unraveling to them right now, that all of the guys that were supposed to be the mainstays there, that they still have the stars, but it's just, oh my goodness, everything is kind of piling up right now for Vegas that, I don't know, not confident with this final stretch and things. Nothing bad against Logan Thompson. He's doing very, very well in his first full year. And I don't know, I just don't think they have it this year, and maybe just kind of re-examine what's going to happen. And when you mentioned the Pete DeBoer fact, I kind of agree with that when I see those comments that he's having that are open out there for the press, that he's showing visible frustration with the things that are going on, that it's clear that like it's just kind of grasping onto something, that it's not clearly working, that changes have to come. And we saw this in the offseason. We knew that this was going to happen. We saw that. I think Adam's bold take was Vegas was going to miss the playoffs. And I think we're just starting to see that now, where we've mentioned that there's been the loss of depth, that they were going to go, they swung for the fences with Jack Eichel, and that was going to take time to fit in there. They dealt with a lot of injuries there, and now it's going to be Logan Thompson and Lauren Brossoit who are going to be there going forward.
I don't know if Brossoit, I think he may be hurt, because that's why Thompson's
also
playing.
hurt.
By the way, I think Logan Thompson's like a 920 save percentage, so he's been good. I just don't get why Lehner has term after it. Like, isn't this the first or second year of a new contract? So you've got to, first off, if you're continuing to have him on, you're already sort of damaging the relationship. First off, to Robin Lehner of all people. He's playing her, which first off is, stupid. I'm assuming he probably doesn't want to get surgery because who else did the team have? This isn't the first time, not even the first time I believe in his time as a coach. Forget just Vegas time, because wasn't he kind of stingy with goaltenders back in his New Jersey days?
Who?
DeBoer.
Pete DeBoer?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a thing during the playoffs last year where people were saying he's got a history for being bold. With
Oh
goals.
yeah, Fleury and Robin Leonard.
Yeah.
There was one time in 2012 he had, I think, Johan Hedberg played one game when Brodeur had like a shaky game, but
That's what I'm thinking, maybe.
yeah.
But there's history.
We said this. I remember when Dave Tippett called out Mikko Koskinen a few months ago, literally like just before he got fired. I think it was around. And I'm not a fan of kicking people when they're down, especially when that's the product on the ice. Like, no offense. I am of the belief if Vegas were to make the playoffs, they would do damage because they'd have a healthy lineup. I think we're going to walk into next year. Changes are going to be made in Vegas. Probably not, like, they're still going to have Stone, Pacioretty, Eichel, and the guys they had signed. I think there's going to be changes in Vegas, but it's just, you can't keep doing this. You can't kick this man while he's down, let alone he's playing hurt, et cetera and et cetera. You cannot kick him when he's down. That's not fair. Like, not even fair. It's not his fault. The team in front of him, does not look fantastic, and you're kicking him.
You should not have been in this position to begin with. I know that obviously there have been injuries and, but so this is the it was kind of like what we said about Toronto last year. Or no, I don't think we specifically said it, but there was a point being made. I should make that clear. That Toronto, because of the way their salary structures work, is one big injury to a certain player could topple the whole thing. Vegas are a top-heavy team. So all of a sudden, when all that money, Stone's gone, well, and then Pacioretty's gone, they got the big money. And as Daniels points to, your depth is non-existent. All those young players you drafted a couple of years ago, you traded them all to sort of strengthen your team now. And it's biting you right now.
100%. I struggle with talking about the depth because, like, if I look at the best teams in the NHL, I think if you lose your three best players, you're going to struggle. Like, the salary cap is $81.5 million. It shouldn't be, but it's $81.5 million. I just don't think they were playing well. You're right. Their depth pieces that they brought in were not good enough. But I think any team missing 3 top 6 wingers, 2 top 4 defensemen, and a starting goalie is going to struggle, including the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I love that team. I love watching Tampa Bay play. It's just, that's what's going to happen. I just don't think, like, that you're kicking the entire team is what it feels like.
The line about Chris, like, Leonard being paid. Well, if the guy's hurt, it's first of all, it's a team responsibility to make sure the guy is healthy. There's some onus on the player to be in good conditional shape, and I'm pretty sure Leonard actually worked a lot. I think pretty sure he lost weight in the offseason to sort of help his game. If there's a guy who wants to, especially now we're starting to get in your argument, if he wants to get healthy and the Golden Knights are like, we may need you, man, it's the playoffs. I don't think that's very fair sort of the position to put Leonard in. And not to mention you've put that much more pressure on him by getting rid of a certain goalie last year. Now, I know hindsight. I know Alex called me out for this a couple of weeks ago. Hindsight, I know, but it just sort of makes Vegas look worse. And listen, it's really funny. Did you guys see some of the quotes coming out of San Jose today?
I saw.
Yeah, Timo Meier. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
There, for anyone who hasn't, the Sharks are basically saying to themselves, we are very easily going to, like, tonight's game. We're going to try and spoil the season for the Golden, which I love. That team, those teams have history. It's never forget that Game 7 comeback by San Jose. By the way.
Oh, here it is. Timo Meyer says that the Sharks are putting, quote, all their energy towards spoiling Vegas's playoff hopes.
Prime Carlson incoming. Can't wait.
This is their Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah,
Unfortunately, this season didn't go any better than last year.
Nope.
And you got to have something to play for. And I think tonight is very much it.
Also against former coach Pete DeBoer. Never forget.
Yeah.
Which was weird to think. Okay. I say quickly, just because we talked about them earlier, we can quickly go to the Habs. I wasn't here to talk about Carey Price's return, which was annoying. But I couldn't really talk. I can't really talk right now. But
did you like Daniel's anecdote about the lack of scoring?
Yeah, it felt very relatable. It felt like, when you go back to high school after the summer, and it's like, this feels familiar.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Familiarity.
Like. But here's the problem: the past couple of games, he's gotten goal support, and he hasn't been great, which is not good. Yeah, he's not traveling to the team. They obviously emergency called Caden Primo up. Montembeault is getting started against the Bruins, and then Price will not travel to New York. They're saying they're resting him, and they haven't ruled him out for Friday's game, which is the last game of the season. But hopefully he plays because I'm going to it, and I want to see Carey Price play. Damn it! But I just want to say that I'm very happy that Price got to play. Love the reception he got. The fans chanting for him. Since then, Lars Eller said something to him. Alex Ovechkin was saying stuff to him. Thomas Mechanics texted them. Sidney Crosby apparently texted them. Who is Austin Watson said something to him yesterday in the Ottawa game, and that's a guy who's been through a lot, and he's gotten help too. So that was really nice. It's just generally as a Carey Price stan, my favorite player of all time. It just makes me really happy to see that everyone's there supporting him. Other stuff though involving the Canadians. They cannot defend to save their lives right now. It is not good. They've quietly lost like 7 straight games. What someone's talking about because we're all waiting for the season to end, but
so we're gonna go with Patrick Talon's prediction of what he wanted for the rest of the season. When
he said 0-11, I'm like, nah, they'll win some games, and then they just have not. Remember, I had that schedule up like last time I was on, and it was. And I thought they could win 2 or 3 of those games. They haven't won any of them. They're back in last place.
That's good.
So when are we going to be able to talk about the top 4 of Adam's preferences?
We can do that right now if you want.
Okay.
Because they've guaranteed losing last night. They can finish no better than second last. So we can talk about that right now. Obviously, number 1 is Shane Wright. Let's talk about that. We can do more in-depth stuff later on when, this is why the Leafs really need to make a deep run. Because it's going to be quiet otherwise for the Habs.
Are you counting on the Leafs to make a deep run? I have. I have.
Alex, we believe.
Where do you want to start where do you want to start on that
the
one?
Show needs it. And we were lucky to have Montreal go deep last year, and then the Leafs create their own drama. But this year, it's just going to be. They need to make a run. But obviously, it's Shane Wright number 1.
Yeah.
I think if you're saying anyone than Logan Cooley for number 2, I think you're dumb. I have Nemec 3 over. I can never get his name right. Slavkovsky. Just because I really like Nemec. But any of those guys I'm cool with. Savoie, it's difficult seeing him as a center in the NHL. But it's Cooley would be cool. I'm not saying you draft him for positioning. I think he's pretty clear second overall. But having either Wright Suzuki or Wright Cooley down the middle for the foreseeable future is pretty sick. And even if it's Nemec, great right-handed defenseman you love to see. Or Slavkovsky can be a big body to be a great part of that Suzuki-Caulfield line. 20 goals for Cole, by the way.
Would you say it would be cool if they got cool?
Cowabunga,
dude. I don't mean to correct you, but it is 8 games they've lost in a row.
It's 8?
Yeah.
That's very quiet. That's very quiet. But I mean, After tonight, they have 2 more games, and man, to see, I think Habs and the fans need to take a break from each other right now.
They're
It's
doing what
been
they
a
need
lot.
to do.
What?
They're doing what they need to do for the end of the season.
Yeah. Cole scoring and them losing. It's just they ought to do it again next year.
I think it's the best of both worlds. You're getting the young guys to play well, score the goals, but then again, you're not putting yourself out of position to get one of the top guys. So works out.
I want Carey to get a win too. That'd be nice. Because even if the Panthers rest guys on Friday, it's still not a great look. Did you guys see the Gallagher hand pass that counted, by the way?
Yeah.
I
How did
could
you
not
feel about
believe that. I saw it. I'm like, oh, that's going to get called back 100%. And then the refs completely boned it, saying you can't review it. And they could, it turns out. It was hilarious.
It's always funny. After obviously that happened, the quote, Gary Bettman's quote, I believe it was from last year. I want to say it was just before game 1 of the Cup Finals, because I remember there was quite a bit of scrutiny going around about refereeing then, and him basically saying they have the best referees in the world.
How do you not know what's challengeable or not? Like, how did no one say anything? Like either other refs or the war room. How did no one point that out? That's legit. That's unacceptable right there.
Yeah.
I mean, the Flyers won the game, and it's also they also have a lost season like the Habs, so I think it matters. But
yeah, no, I don't feel bad, but
No.
that should not be happening.
Also the Sens game. It's really funny that both Tim Stützle and Brendan Gallagher were getting booed out the building at the Canadian Tire Center. That is not where the Habs play normally, by the way. That's the Sens arena.
No, we're just man. I feel like there's a part of me that does feel a little bit bad.
Oh, I hate when it happens in Montreal. I hate it. Doesn't happen often, but I hate it.
It doesn't happen, but like I do feel bad because I swear every time Montreal or Toronto go into Ottawa, it's like 50% of the other team, and it's just like that's brutal. Like the Leafs, half of the bottom lower bowl is like suits, so like they're just not making noise. But like to have your own player booed in your own stadium, that's brutal.
Too many flashbacks, Alex, of the 2014 onwards Leafs, I think, for us when we think about players getting booed.
Yeah, well, that's pretty
fans.
recent. Yeah, that was our own fans.
Yeah,
that's actually a lot more
yeah.
recent than you'd imagine. Jake Gardner was booed by Leaf fans. And this was in like post drafting Austin Matthews. So
Wasn't
it's
Marner
the last.
booed?
Because I was thinking about Phil Kessel, because he got a lot. Even when he was playing a point per game season, he got booed.
I don't remember Kessel. I don't remember Marner. Like, I don't think so.
I remember Phaneuf. He used to get booed.
Oh, Phaneuf. Yeah, no,
Yeah, he got
Phaneuf
booed.
for sure. But yeah, no. Marner, I don't remember. I'm sure it was his jersey that was thrown on the ice, I imagine. But that I can't confirm that.
Kessel was the waffle, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, going back, the Sens won the game. Luckily for them, Stützle drew 3 penalties.
This is just awesome. It's so funny.
It's just a fun game. Great game.
I love the again, like this is something you don't see every day. Leaf and Habs fans coming together.
Can I just say that it is sickening to see somebody put Don Cherry, xenophobia, and Brendan Gallagher in the same tweet? Loser.
I saw the comment about if it was Nick Suzuki. I'm like, oh, you're ready for that conversation? I don't think if you're making the comment, you're not ready for that conversation.
Yeah. Weird tweet.
And then compare Sidney. I didn't see anyone talking about like this for Sidney Crosby. They literally called him a baby.
Cindy. They called him Cindy Crosby, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. He got his fair share. Pardon?
People still call him a baby.
Yeah. He got his, don't worry. He got his fair share of abuse. It's like I don't know what
Couldn't
revisionist
talk
history.
normally too.
But
He
I'm just
got,
one.
like, bullied.
Yeah.
Like, he got assaulted.
If you're talking like that, that's a major
You just
revisionist
missed
history.
just making it a thing of he's German, so people don't like. What are you talking about? It's hockey. This
No.
isn't like shut up.
That's like I was 8 years old when Crosby. I think maybe when we started really hearing about that, and like I'm telling you, Sidney Crosby got his fair. Like he got it.
Yeah.
Even Crosby admits his behavior was bad.
Yeah. I went when I saw the tweet. I went on Google and I searched up Sidney Crosby diver. I'm scrolling through. There's plenty of articles. There's like Bleacher Report had one top 10 Sidney Crosby dives.
It's just everyone. People were saying he's a diver.
Please.
He's a noted diver, Stutzel. He is. This is a fact. No one is making any World War II. He's German. No one is doing that. Shut up. Brendan Gallagher is not a xenophobe. What are you talking about? I can't do that to my throat. Nearly gave away there.
You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. It's weird. I mean, maybe because this is the most direct talking I've done in about a week. It's funny. So I wasn't feeling amazing on Thanksgiving, but I was feeling like, not Thanksgiving, on Easter Sundays. But then towards the end of it, because I was, me and my brother do all the cooking, I just felt like awful. I'm still a bit ill now, but
I was about to say, I'm like, is British
problem.
Thanksgiving different from ours?
No,
that would make sense. We're Canadian.
We had a turkey and all that, and I thought it was Thanksgiving.
I meant to say this today earlier, by the way. I know we're gonna get to hockey, but happy Easter in the Julian calendar to Alex's Armenian side of the family.
Exactly. What's the Julian calendar?
So that used to be the original calendar that they use. So I don't know if we're gonna know this here, but
is it the original calendar behind?
No, it's just kind of like it's like different if you like depending on certain dates, but it's only used because the Gregorian calendars are standardized calendar. Okay. But the Julian calendar is used for like religious reasons for like Orthodox Christians a lot of the times.
Neat.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Well, Alex knew that already.
Barely.
The Toronto Maple Leafs.
Okay. Is that where we're going?
You didn't think I'd miss this, did you? Listen, where we're going? I tried to listen for blowing the 5-1 lead to the Panthers. I still don't agree with the reaction, but I tried to be sensible. I asked Alex. We had the good conversation.
Just get replayed again.
Listen. Okay, this is all I'm gonna say, and then I'll throw it over to Alex. We'll start with the Tampa Bay game. No, we're gonna have a discussion about a few things here.
Wait, or is there a problem about the Florida game too that I missed?
Oh no, I just want to take the piss out of it. As well. Okay. I didn't watch it because I was watching the Sens and Habs just have a piss contest. But
okay,
what was it? 8-1 was the final score for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. If your team loses 8-1 and you tweet out the deserve to win meter, I cannot take you seriously anymore. Listen, Mike Stevens does great stuff. He does. And the stuff that have transcribing stuff from the different Kyle beats are like reports, and he's done a great job. Fantastic stuff.
He was the one who had the
but he threw
Arizona
up
stuff.
You did the Arizona stuff. But throwing out the deserve to win meter being nearly 50-50 when the Leafs lost 8-1. Stop it. Stop it. I don't want to hear it. You hang your heads in shame. The deserve to win meter. Get out of here. Don't take a hike. But anyway, what happened in that game anyway? I saw the first period was 0-0, and then I looked at the end of the second, it was like 4-0. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, well.
All right. Before I get into it, congratulations, Steven Stamkos, all-time points leader for the Tampa Bay Lightning in that game.
Of course.
Wicked one-timer he had there too.
Like that's a Steven Stamkos goal. Like, of course, that's how he scored it.
Against his hometown boys. But anyways, I don't know. Like, it just piled on. The first period was 0-0. Then we get to the second, and it's like, is this the same game that I'm watching? It was 5-0. I decide to go for gas. I'm like, it cannot get any worse.
Funny that after the Habs game, I went on Xbox and I saw that Alex was already online. I'm like, so it was that type of night.
Because I finished the first period. I'm like, yeah, this game's not for me. Here's my thinking, right? My thinking has been, it's the regular season. It doesn't matter. It's been like that since game one. Pretty much has not changed. There are 4 games left in the regular season. They pretty much they clinched a playoff spot. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this tonight. This isn't it. Like, sorry. It was 0-0 and I did that. I'm like, this is going to be ugly, but I did not think it was going to be 8-1 ugly, by the way. Like, I hate it. Whatever.
You know what's funny? Because last episode, Alex, when we were talking about this wave the Leafs are on, where they had this streak and that whole thing of Sheldon Keefe saying we have to prepare for the playoffs. And I talked about this optimism that we just have to work out the smaller kinks going in. But I did not expect an 8-1 loss.
We did it again.
Like, here's what really bothered me about the deserve to win meter in this loss. The season's done this week.
Yeah.
We're nearly there. This long, miserable season is nearly at an end, or the regular season, that is.
Oh, so I think the way to handle, I'm going to separate this. I'm going to dumb this down.
Yeah.
There's two groups of people who should be reacting to this game in different manners. The fans and the team itself. Alex, like they're going to have different reactions. I think the team handled it the perfect way. They said, this is a one-off, clean it up, go to work. What are they going to say? Like, oh yeah, we really crapped it, because that's what they used to do. They used to they took it personally. That's not it. Winners don't do that. Winners don't take that personally. Sorry. Unless it's in the playoffs, I don't really know when they take a regular season game personally.
Unless you're Michael Jordan.
Unless you're Michael. Yeah. Yes. Unless you're Michael Jordan. But like, I think as a team, what Sheldon Keefe said, like, what are you going to say? And I said it a few weeks ago, you already publicly called the team out more than once this season. You cannot do it again, especially with a week to go before the playoffs. You can't do that. Or that's my opinion. You can't do that. The fans, on the other hand, this is how you're going to take it, or how you should have taken it. This is how I took it. That was embarrassing. Turn off Twitter. Don't go on Twitter. Go to bed. That's it. Unless you're Steve Dangle, you have a job. You got to do an LFR. I understand.
And he didn't want to do it.
I would not want to do it either. You go to bed. You leave it. You let the people pile on you, and then you call it a night. I don't want to see no deserve a win-o-meter. That's nothing. The regular season doesn't matter. It doesn't. Whether they win or lose does not matter. Unless they have to make the playoffs, which they already are. That is it. That's how you take it as a fan. You let everyone else pile on top of you and you go to bed. Like, that's how you do it. That's how I did it.
For you, Alex, what did you do? Because you went on Xbox. What did you play to just not think about it?
When was it? What day was it?
That was Thursday?
May have been playing GTA Online, I think.
I think I was playing GTA Online with Mike. That might have that I definitely think that was what was happening. And then I went to bed. I think I watched like an hour of The Dark Knight Rises because I just really wanted to watch the movie. And then I went to bed.
Really watched an hour?
Well, I was tired.
Sorry.
Before we keep going, one thing, obviously the Canadians are one of those weird teams that have little team rules. Normally everyone has to wear a helmet during warm-up. No one is wearing them on warm-up stay for Guy Lafleur, which is a really, really cool detail. Okay.
That's cool.
So I wasn't here to talk about it, but I was at the Caps Leafs game, my buddy Owen.
Mm-hmm. Power.
Not Owen Power, Owen Doucette, great guy. And we were talking about the no bucket thing, because obviously guys like Ovechkin and Wilson don't wear them. And I think it was like Connor McMichael didn't wear one. I'm like, who is Connor McMichael and not wear a bucket during
World
warm-up?
Junior legend Connor McMichael.
Exactly. Okay, so looking also that Tampa game. How ready are you guys for continuous battles between Kyle Clifford, Corey Perry, Wayne Simmons, and Patrick Maroon?
I am ready.
I'm amped.
I have been waiting and waiting. I swear, I promise you, I've been waiting.
Have you been waiting on Corey Perry specifically because he had the series winner?
Oh,
For the Canadians?
no, not at all.
Is
Honestly,
it because of the history of Corey and I understand that it's gonna be weird.
Corey and
It's
I
not.
claim him.
It's
What?
not. It has it has nothing to do with that. Ever since that whatever call where they gave him 10 minutes for chirping. I'm like, I want to see them
I
beat
forgot
the
about
crap
that.
out of each other.
One thing I wanted to talk about was the Leah Kessel stuff.
Hextall,
Yeah.
not Kessel.
Why did I say Kessel? Leah Hextall, who is Ron Hextall's daughter, apparently. Which makes sense. Yeah, apparently that is his daughter. So, which is important here because I heard someone mention, obviously, former Flyer and former GM Ron Hextall would have obviously had Wayne Simmons play for them, which means Leah Hextall and Wayne Simmons may know each other. So they had a bit of an interview. She was between the benches. And sort of like, obviously, Pat Maroon was going on about Wayne Simmons is soft. Shut up. Anyone tweeting about, we know Wayne Simmons isn't soft. Shut up. Everyone knows who Wayne Simmons is. What are we talking about here? But, Patrick Maroon's doing his thing. He's chirping. And all that's happening. And Leah Kessel asked him, are you soft? And I have never seen an overreaction to commentary in my entire life.
Thank you.
And let's be honest about it. People are saying it. It is because people are not okay with it because she's a woman. 100%. That's why it is. It's listen, they clearly have a relationship. It was a question. I don't know why people were so up in arms about this, beside the fact she's a woman. It was 100% that was why.
In a world full of problems, don't tell me there's no problems in this world. You're a liar. And whatever. This is what we're going to nitpick.
You know what, do you know what Gary Galley said during the Habs game last night? He's like, so Guy Lafleur, it took him a couple years before he figured his career out. Kind of like Tim Stützle right now.
Oh,
and everyone was like, did you just compare Tim Stützle to Guy Lafleur? That didn't blow up as much as Leah Hextall jokingly asking Simmons if he's soft. I cannot find a more insecure group of fans than male hockey fans. Like, and I'm one of them, but I'm not a sexist. I'm not like the gatekeeping for this sport is so bad sometimes.
Oh, it's.
I also like to add like the context here that Leah did tweet out after that because of the number of years that she's worked in the hockey industry. Her and Wayne Simmons know each other. She's interviewed him multiple times, and she knows that it was a joke. He knows that it was a joke.
Laughing, he had a bit of a chuckle at the end. And it's like Pierre McGuire, and people were like, Pierre McGuire didn't get this crap, which
he did.
McGuire, he did, but
he
there were
definitely
made his dues.
many stupid things. Like, remember that 2-0 that Tampa had? They had a 2-0 on Carey Price and they scored in the playoffs last year. Kelly Rudy's like, that's Carey Price's fault. It didn't blow up like that. McGuire is like this sort of like, listen, he was bad, but
No.
I remember he had to get a top 10 weird like list on YouTube, and I just was like, I remember watching it. I thought it was just a fan made video, just a random fact. But the first comment was from 13 years ago, and it was Steve Dangle laughing at it.
The thing with McGuire is when McGuire said something, I guess let's call it controversial, it would blow up. Right? It would blow up. Like, we'd all see it. We'd send it around. And then it would just be like,
That's Pierre being Pierre.
It's
That's
Pierre.
what I think,
exactly. It's
With
Pierre
Leah
being
Hextall,
Pierre.
but with Leah Hextall, it's like,
Like,
those women. It's like, shut up.
Yeah. Like, who cares? Why is this your concern? I don't even half the time. I don't even watch it with the volume on.
Leah Hextall probably knows more about hockey than you do. People complaining. Like, this is somebody who again, would have grown up so close to the game because of the stature and the run. Like, obviously, as a player now and as an executive in Ron Hextall, she would have been like the hours those guys work at front offices and that, not to mention the scheduling as a player. Hockey would have always been around that family. You know what I mean? And especially the market Ron played in, she would have been exposed to the Flyers growing up. So, no offense, she probably knows more than most people on TV as well. To be honest,
they're cousins. Sorry,
they're cousins.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, whoops, that's on me. Whoops. Okay, well, never mind.
I just want to double check.
But still, she's around the
It
family.
doesn't change. Yeah, no, it doesn't change.
Hockey families are like pretzels the way they're put together, right?
Yeah.
Like they're close. Like how all the Pitlicks are Haps. Like there's like 4 of them.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. Oh, we're gonna get ripped by Flyers fans for not knowing the right relation there. But man, don't be so insecure, fans, that somebody made a joke because they're a woman. Shut up. It's just. Do you guys see Chris Johnston's tweet when he's like, random thought, why are there no women coaches?
Yeah.
I get what he means, but that was kind of weird timing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just kind of weird.
Wait, who was it? It was Charlie McAvoy's
older sister.
Older sister. Okay, it's older sister, not a cousin. That was part of the Rangers
interning
bench.
for the Rangers. Yeah. In the maybe like I think it's like I can't remember if it's like a sports, like a health sort of thing. But yeah, that was at the game and that was a cool moment. It's a fair question. It's a fair question. It just felt very on the nose. Like another question like I saw people ask is like, why are there no European coaches? Like that. Like, there's another one. It's another thing at gatekeeping. I'm not saying like, it's just, it's another question. You know what I mean?
Is Jarkko Kekalainen is the only European GM, right?
Him and Alvin.
Okay.
Yeah. They're both Swedish, I think.
Yeah.
No. Finnish. And I think Alvin's Swedish.
Okay.
Yeah. Kekalainen is definitely
Finnish. Yes.
Yeah. But and then maybe the Sedins one day. But yeah, no, Alvin's Swedish. But yeah, no, it's like it's not even just gatekeeping gender, it's nationality a lot. Like there have been like no coaches from overseas.
I wonder why there's like issues in hockey, but whatever.
It was a fair question, but it was kind of like CJ, that's a little. You have a podcast. Talk about it there.
You know, I think it felt like
he was adding on to the Hextall stuff.
No. To me, it felt like he tweeted that, maybe I'm taking a pure guess here, but like not sarcastically, but like look at the response we're getting to the commentator calling someone soft, and it's like, why do we have no women NHL coaches? That's the way I read it, but like again, that's the way I read it. Everyone reads it differently these days.
Fair.
So
yeah, well, it's like why do we have a ref shortage? Well, because fucking parents treat refs horribly in younger leagues. You know what I mean? Like horribly. Apparently, it's really
brutal.
bad, like really bad. Okay, going to the Panthers game for the Leafs. This one I jokingly put it was 2-0. Where's the deserve to win meter now? Where is it, guys? What's the excuse this time?
I was ready to go on. I didn't realize that was a joke. I'm like, are people complaining that it was? Are you telling me that there's never been a 2-goal lead that was blown? I'm like, I was ready to go.
What I understand, like Bobrovsky started slow and then he just picked up the rest of the game. Well, that's what Baumgartner was tweeting.
Yeah, no, it was a good game. I thought it was the Leafs played. I mean, the bar was low from that Tampa game, but they played much better.
They scored 2 goals.
They scored 2 goals instead of 1, and they let in 3 goals instead of 2. Like we're talking about, that was a Mark Spector playoff game. That's how I'll put it, because it ended 3-2. But I thought it was a much better game, and I thought it was a good game between the 2 top teams in the Atlantic Division.
Pretty solid. I just that Morgan Riley breakaway where he just dumps himself into the net. That wasn't pretty.
No.
But again, it's a loss to arguably the best team in the league right now, and it doesn't really like either they won or they lost. It wasn't going to shift anything for this end of the week. So take it as it is. They kept their ground for as long as they could.
Can I be completely honest?
Okay.
The last 2 games, I did not learn anything new about the Toronto Maple Leafs.
No.
Like
No.
that 8-1, what was I supposed to take from that 8-1 game? Last night's game, I just thought it was a much better game than before. And like they've played Florida like that in the past, and sometimes they've won and sometimes they didn't. Like that's the way I'm going to take it. Like, I don't know. I mean, we can sit here and debrief about how the 79th game of the regular season went for 2 teams who are in the playoffs. I'm not entirely sure that's going to get us anywhere when in about a week and a couple days, we're going to be talking about game 1 of the playoffs, which are extremely more important than game 79.
They're an exciting matchup. But
Yeah.
we kind of knew that from the 5-1 game, didn't we?
Yeah.
We don't know how long Bunting will be gone, but Sheldon Keefe did say with this leg injury, he will miss time. If he's out, how does that affect the lineup? I know you guys talked about the lineups last episode, but we've got we got a thing in the wrench here.
Once again, we did it, Daniel.
We did it.
We jinxed them. I mean, I think you have a couple options.
Is it Nylander like people are saying? Because I don't like that idea.
Abruzzese on the first line.
That's tonight. Abruzzese playing there. Tavares obviously isn't playing tonight. If Keefe is willing to move Nylander back to the second line, I think you put Mikheyev on the first line.
I was thinking that as well.
And I mean, I've been an advocate for Mikheyev in the top 6 since like his first season. So I'm just going with what I've been saying. And I think you have Kerfoot, Tavares, and Nylander as your second line. And I think that's fine for the time being until Michael Bunting comes back. And I don't think that is horrible for the team. But then again,
worked in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember who their other winger was though.
Yeah, but whoever it is, now you swap out, and then Tavares is the center, and he's back.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. But yeah, maybe it changes the third line, but I think you'll be fine.
I guess we're not going to get any reps from Alex, Adam's favorite player early in the season. In the bottom 6.
Who?
Brett Seney.
Oh, Brett Seney. No, I do not think Brett Seney.
Do you remember?
I forgot he existed again.
Yeah.
I remember the conversation. I thought he wasn't a real person. I still don't. I still think it was a prank.
Yeah. Well, no, I just think you might you have Abruzzese up here. I don't know if he's going to be in the playoff roster. I doubt it. Unless you have 2 or 3 injuries.
That's interesting. I think Blackwell and Clifford are kind of had a Senny in the depth chart there.
Yeah, and Spezza too. I just think you're more likely to use Abruzzese right now, just because you can't really send him down.
Hey guys, did you know the Leafs had the oldest goal ever the other day? Did you know that? Your Donovan Spezza are old.
Ask me how much I care.
They're old. I rolled my eyes. Okay,
I as well did.
So I've been paying a lot of attention to the NBA playoffs, right? Because the way they scheduled this weekend was beautiful. I love it. So I was watching, I think it was Celtics. I think it was game 2 of Boston and Brooklyn, right? And I'm listening to the halftime show, and it's the TNT guys. And I hear Charles Barkley say, I hear him say something, and I know for a fact you give it 2 hours and it's trending on Twitter. I wake up the next day and what do I see? Leafs Twitter going nuts because Chuck said, I'll guarantee the Leafs are going to win a series, and I couldn't stop laughing. Man, yeah, basketball though. That's a good.
I believe.
I don't care.
This is like Charles Barkley.
I hate him.
Was an advocate against Shaq saying that the Raptors were going to get swept, and they didn't get swept.
Well, Shaq changed his mind later in that same segment.
It was thumbs up Charles Barkley from that. It's thumbs down now. Why would you say that?
You ever seen that clip of when Charles Barkley explains where he got his watch?
No.
Got it for some. Oh, Alex, you have to find it. It's
Okay, I'll watch it.
it's he. I don't want to spoil it, but
Okay.
like seriously, I want you no right now, Alex.
Oh.
I want you to find it, open it on the tab, and the moment we are done recording, you need to watch it. It
Oh, that was
is-
gonna be part of the show
Charles.
segment. But okay,
I feel like we get copyright strike.
Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
But Charles Barkley's bracelet, and it's
Okay.
the panel. It is so funny.
Okay, I found
Hey,
it.
Daniel,
I'm ready.
Daniel.
Mhm.
Towels will own. You can't be making fun of us. We had our towels on. Oh, it's so people will go watch it. We talked about the Habs. So to finish off, things first off. Oh my god!
Oh,
We were so close.
close.
And is it working now?
Yeah,
Yes,
we're back.
there
we're
you
back.
go.
That's annoying. Daniel, tonight the Anaheim Ducks host the St. Louis Blues in Ryan Getzlaf's final game. How do you feel, my friend?
My gosh, looking at my hands right now, I'm like, oh my gosh, my childhood is truly over.
They're wrinkling, and you're like, the moisturizer. No, they
Where
keep
did-
wrinkling in their bags under your eyes, and your hair.
Where
is
did the
blending.
time go? Obviously not the best situation. I mean, the Ducks are going to be good in the future, but just the way things are going to end off, it would have been nice to have another playoff run for him, and it looked like it was going to be possible, but the momentum dried out. And I am hopeful for the team moving forward. It's been commented already. I believe Troy Terry spoke with Eric Stevens that possibly they're not going to have a captain next year in honor of Getzlaf, which perfectly would make sense because I don't think there is a super strong candidate. Maybe Cam Fowler, I don't know because I don't know his future there either. But it's weird for me that I'm going to look back to that Ducks team now, and two things are going to be gone. That's the last piece of the 07 Cup team. Second, it's the guy that I've been following since I was a little kid. He was probably the guy that gave me other than Giguère, gave me the new hope when as a kid I didn't think that players would do this, but when Paul Correa left for Colorado, I really felt that. I really felt like he was forever the Mighty Ducks captain, and there would be no other Mighty Ducks captain. Paul Correa, amazing guy, amazing player. But for me, the way Getzlaf kind of just got into that situation, he learned from the best. He learned from Scott Niedermayer, and he just transitioned from that young prospect into that established captain, into that type of, I think, the prototypical power forward that you could see in the modern NHL. That he was able to keep the aggressiveness going, but he was also a goal scorer. And it's just going to be weird for me to see that he's not there anymore. It's pretty surprising because I don't know what Corey Perry's future is going to be, but it's going to be weird that it's only going to be one of them in the league now. And the way the trajectories were going, I really thought Perry was going to retire first, to be honest. And
He got bought out. You're like,
he
oh
got
god.
bought out. Yeah. And I think maybe that's something that Getzlaf saw. His contract is ending and it's a new management team. So I think he's done enough for his career. And he got the cup, he got the gold medals, he got the All-Star games, and he got the deep runs. So I think it was time to go. It's gonna be a new era for the Ducks, but I'm happy for him. Always gonna be one of my favorite players.
As Ron McLean would say, beautiful. To finish off, a few things I wanted to mention. For the first time since the 90s, we have an NHL defenseman who has hit 90 points. It is in Nashville, and it is Roman Josi. You're still not better than Weber, though.
My Norris pick, by the way.
Sorry?
He was my Norris pick.
Of
Why would you
course.
spoil that? Why would you
Oh,
spoil-
sorry.
You also, I'm pretty sure, did you not take him when we did our draft?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, when we forgot about
Nathan
we
McKinnon.
forgot about Nathan McKinnon.
We all did. Daniel and I just assumed that. What a story.
I
That's a
was
story.
shocked.
That's a story. That's a story.
I was shocked. Okay. I don't have it in front of me, but I had something it was talking about Sidney Crosby. Let me see if I can find it because it's from Cap Friendly.
Here, I have it.
Is it the points per game thing for Crosby? Okay, yeah, please read it.
So Sidney Crosby has averaged over a point per game every season during his 17-year career. He's averaging 1.25 this season, his second highest average in the last 8 years.
And he's what, 35?
33, 34?
I'll double check.
The reason I
He
wanted
is
to
34 years old. He'll be 35 in August.
Churning 35, and he's that great. The old men aren't done yet. Along with that, Alexander Ovechkin has hit the 50-goal mark for the 9th time in his career. That ties Mike Bossy, the late, great Mike Bossy, and Wayne Gretzky for the most 50-goal seasons in NHL history. He also becomes the oldest 50-goal scorer at 36 years old. So the old men, the faces of the league, continue to shine. On top of that, I just wanted to do one little thing before we went. I wanted to look at league scoring as a whole very quickly. Do you know how many points the 10th leading scorer in the league has right now? Just take a guess. The 10th leading scorer in the league.
Is it Kirill Kaprizov? 100?
I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I'll tell you it's not Kaprizov now. Okay. He's 6th.
Okay. I'm gonna go with 93 points.
I'll go
go ahead.
91.
10th in league scoring is 96 points.
Wow.
In fact, the only 16th place is under 90, and that's Kyle Connor. These are our 100-point players so far. Matthew Tkachuk, which has been so quiet, contract year. Have fun with that, Calgary.
Yeah.
Like how insane is that to look at? Marner's at 96. Kaprizov, Matthews, Draisaitl, Gaudreau, Huberdeau, and McDavid are all over 100 points.
Wow. You brought up Tkachuk. It's going to be so much fun to watch that unfold. As a Leafs fan who had to go through the exact same thing they're about to go through, probably.
And
remember Matthew Tkachuk's quote. When you deal with one of us, you deal with all of us.
That's hilarious. Stamkos is at 93 points.
He's back.
Wow, he is very mad. Patrick Kane's at 91, but he's a loser. Kyle Connor's at 88 points, 44 goals. Barkov's at 88 points and 65 games played. McKinnon in only 62 games is 87. Oh my God. McCarron 74 is at 85. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to find who is the highest scoring guy in the league right now who isn't point per game. And I'm trying to find it. Oh my god, the scoring is insane this year. 70. Okay, the highest I can see a guy who isn't point per game, and is like top of scoring is Victor Hedman, who has 77 points in 78 games played. But then right below
him, defenseman.
Yes, and DeBrincat's right under him, but that's 76 points. He's 34th in league scoring. That's how deep scoring is this year. That's
the 90s are back, guys.
Louise.
And we have 4 50-goal scorers: Ovechkin, Kreider, Draisaitl, McDavid. And then 40-goal guys: DeBrincat, Tkachuk, Lindholm, Gensel, Duchesne. McDavid's at 43. That's quiet. Kaprizov. But people thought that was a bad contract. You losers.
No.
Barkov's at 39 in 65 games.
Get ready for this summer, where the NHL will not crack down on any rules. And we will try to find a way to reduce scoring, because that's not fun.
Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Hopefully I didn't sound too much like crap, but Alex is going to cut out all the
We're just happy to have you back, Adam.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I cannot hear the TV downstairs of the applause the Bell Center is giving Guy Lafleur right now, which is insane. Apparently, they didn't come out to any music for the game today, which is interesting. You just hear Guy Guy being chanted. So I'm going to go watch that. Thank you for listening. I thought we'd go longer. I thought we had a lot, but I guess we got through. And again, my 5-minute setup for the Vegas thing got cut short by my throat. So thank you for listening. Check out all the links below, especially the TikTok where they hate Sidney Crosby, apparently. And we will see you Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Goodbye.